Jodie, you've had experience doing podcasting, radio, some broadcasting, and you were doing social media for that kind of role, and you were figuring out a way to take your social media knowledge and do that as your kind of full-time job.
I love that side of it, and I just didn't know if it was a job, if it was something, you know, that you can make money and a living from. Obviously, we all have bills to pay. We still need to make an income, and that was important. So I was working up until this week just in a call centre for an insurance company that I worked from home. And to be honest, in between calls, I was doing a bit on my VA stuff, and it's finally got to a point now where I can do VA full time, which is insane. It's not something I thought would happen so soon, but it's amazing. It's happened.
That's incredible. So wait, so you were working in a call center up until when?
This is my last week this week. So I literally a week after launching my business, my notice went in.
A week after launching your business, your notice went in. So what did your business look like a week into launching?
So I had probably spent about, I would say, a good 6 weeks thinking about becoming a VA and looking up VAs online, looking up different courses, looking up different things. You could very quickly see that a lot of I don't want to be nasty, but some of the people that are putting courses out there, they're just there to make money. They're not actually giving you anything from it. You get to watch a video that they've had pre-recorded and sell for a lot of money, and really don't get that sort of one-to-one support, which is why I kind of came to you. And because it was little things like I didn't know I knew how to build a website. I knew how to do social media, but I didn't know how to speak to people, contracts, little things like that I hadn't even considered until I sat down and actually joined the inner circle and looked at everything that it involved. I thought, oh, there's quite a lot to this actually. Yeah. And for me, it was, as I said, I spent a lot of time looking at different virtual assistants and really looking at their websites, their social medias. And I had a book that I was just a notebook that I was writing down, right, I like that. I don't like that. I would offer that. I wouldn't offer that. That sounds pushy. That doesn't sound pushy. And I think the thing that made mine an instant success, if that's what we're calling it, is the first post I put out. Now, I have two social medias. I have my own one, and then I created one for the business. And I very quickly found that the business one doesn't work because I think people are trusting me as a person, not as the business. Yes, if it grows and it's something bigger and I can take on other VAs, then maybe that has to be relooked at. But certainly people wanted to get to know me and seeing that I was a person and they could relate to me and see a little bit of what I've done previously. Your own advertisement, I guess, in a way. And that followed through with my website. I spent a long time making my own website, really polished, really crisp. And that was the feedback that I had, was that everything looked polished. And that's what they wanted. You know, people that were contacting me, they were like, this is what I want, but I didn't know how I wanted it. And it wasn't until I popped up and was like, hey, I can do this for you. And it is just telling people what a VA is as well, because people don't know what that is. So I started putting just posts, recorded a video and was like, hey, I'm trying this out. Would anyone be interested? And one of my clients is somebody that I knew, but all the rest are organic people that seem to have just watched that story, you know, that came up on their phone somehow. I still don't understand how all the algorithms work and how I got in front of them, but we don't need to ask why.
Just trust it happens. It works.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, it really was putting out. And if you go on my website, you see the very first thing that when the page opens is, what is a virtual assistant? Because people have contacted me and have gone, well, I needed somebody to do this and I didn't know, like, everything in my head for a new business. So I had somebody that's actually a charity came to me and they were like, we just want to focus on raising money for charity and putting our time into that, and have no experience of social media or what it can do for them, and the little nitty-gritty things that it's not worth their time. Almost they could be doing something much more productive, especially with something when they're doing fundraising for such important causes. That I can go, right, okay, I can help. And I think I just said yes to everything. And I thought I'll worry and learn about it later, but so far so good.
That's a good attitude. Just say yes and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So at what point did you start posting on your Instagram kind of VA related stuff?
I started posting, so it must be 3-4 weeks now. About 4 weeks, I would say. About 4 weeks ago. And I was doing them as stories, more so than actually posts. I did a couple on my Facebook, which Facebook I think was a little easier for sort of friends and family to share it. But then on Facebook as well, because you have so many, I don't know about anyone else, but on my Facebook, for example, I have a lot of old school friends and things that would then mock it underneath, and then it takes that professionalism out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get that. But help me. Yeah.
So I've definitely found like Instagram stories has been amazing, and I'm looking at starting up on TikTok as well, because that seems to be really, really good. But I mean, at the moment, I've got 5 clients that are keeping me busy enough for now, and I'm trying to get more work out of them, but I would like a few more as well, not to be greedy.
No, that's a fantastic start. Like, considering you've only recently started and you've already got 5 clients, like that's incredible. And would you say that most of them came from Instagram, from watching your stories?
Yeah, one of them was somebody so she's a woman who was just making candles, and I was a previous customer of her. I love candles, wax melts, things like that. And I'd supported her when she started her business. And as soon as I put it up, she just messaged me and was like, don't have much, but what can you offer me for this? And that was really nice, because it is those connections that you've made of that I wouldn't have thought about messaging her directly or things. So it is nice that just have the guts, I guess, to just put yourself out there, because you never know what you're going to get back.
And I think it's worth saying at this point, you have quite a big, relatively big Instagram following already, right? I think you have like 8,000 followers. Well, relatively big in terms of compared to somebody who's just starting out on Instagram as a virtual assistant. Would you say those followers, were they potential clients? Was it an audience that you could potentially, well, obviously you have gotten clients, but.
I mean, as I say, only one person that I knew has come on as a client. And I thought initially I would get a lot more, because I thought, a lot of people on my social media followers are people to do with TV and music that I'd worked with before. And that's where I thought, we talk a lot about, pick a genre to work in and kind of stick to that. That's where I thought I was going to be doing it with podcasts and things like that. But surprisingly, I haven't had that. And I don't know whether that's people are scared to come to me, or if they just don't need me. People do. I don't know. And maybe I need to just drop people a few messages myself directly, But surely that's the plan from next week, that because I'm going to be full-time doing this, it will free me up more to just throw myself at it, really.
Oh, that's so exciting. Like, you've gone full-time, you've put in your notice. So today is your last week, and from next week you're full-time. Oh my God, that's so exciting. And do your 5 clients, do you think they're going to keep you busy like in a full-time kind of way, or will you have a little bit more time? Like you said, you will have a little bit more time to do marketing, but how will your week
I've been dealing with them, I would say part-time anyway, kind of on my lunch breaks, on my breaks at work, in between the odd call. I've been getting up in the morning earlier, which has been good for my mindset as well, because, they do say getting up early and being productive is really good. So I certainly can see, I was working 8 hours a day somewhere, on the calls for the insurance company. So I can definitely put those 8 hours to use somewhere else, and see what full-time then looks like for me, really.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. So I'm just going to look at the question here that came up. Heaven asks, how were you able to find your own leads outside of the inner circle? Did they find you? I think Jodie probably answered that already, but do you have anything else to add?
No, I think it was just that first day, I just bombarded my social media across the board. Like you say, I have got a following, which was good, but it didn't come from them. I mean, something has happened somewhere that people have picked it up. I had my website set up before I launched, and it was quite strange, really. I'd set my website up and I was kind of 90% happy with it. But I thought, you know what, I'll put it out, I'll have time to work on it.
Yeah.
And straight away, I had people messaging through the message function on my website. And I was literally thinking, how did these people find me? And I've actually added a question now. If somebody messages me through my website, there's a drop down box to say, where have you heard about me? Or where did you find the link? Something like that. Just because it's good for me to know what's working, what I should, be focusing on. And not waste time on somewhere that maybe it isn't getting shown to people.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think Instagram is where the most of it's come from.
I love that. I love that you're putting effort into finding out where your clients are coming from. Because like you said,
Mm-hmm.
then you can put more energy and effort into following into that path that they find you in.
Yeah,
Definitely. So you had your website, you weren't 100% with your website. You can never be 100% with your website. It's always a work in progress, right? But
yeah, definitely.
you put it out there, you launched it, you published it, and that's so great that you attracted leads from it almost instantly. Like that is magic.
And I think
So
that I know a lot of people, I know I've seen a comments on loads of things that people are scared of making their own websites. And my advice, for what it's worth, is I started making websites through GoDaddy.com. Because you can buy your URL and they will connect your email address to it. You can have your info. So mine's info@harkingvirtualassistants.com. That looks very professional straight away. You haven't got a Gmail email account. You look like you're already established, even if you're not. It makes you look a bit more polished. And certainly somewhere like GoDaddy is, as I say, where I learned, because they already have the templates there. So you can literally put in, okay, so I want to work in administration. They have pictures that you can use straight away. You don't have to use your own. And really just follow their templates to start with. And then over time, develop your skills and learn how simple it is, really. And that's how I learned. So hopefully that helps somebody.
you make it sound so easy, but it is. And it is, and I love that you built your own website, which I think many new virtual assistants would do anyway, because you also build up your skill set, don't you? Kind of building your websites and tweaking them, and that's a skill set that you could potentially go on and offer your clients.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who is just starting out and they're kind of really struggling with kind of putting themselves out there? Like they know they can help people, but they don't know how to say it. They don't know how to talk about it. They don't know how to get visible. Like, what would you say to those people who are scared to do it?
I think that I would watch a lot of other people online like I did and do that thing of I like that and I don't like that. And I also wouldn't put too much pressure on yourself, because I think, again, there's a lot of VAs out there on social media that consistently post, I earned this much today, I earned this much this week. And like anything, don't compare yourself to those. Make sure you're doing it for you, work it out for yourself. So how I broke it down for me was I put packages together for prices. And when I was looking for clients and what I was going to offer them, I had this might be a really strange way of doing it, but I've always done money things like this, is I went, right, okay, so my mortgage payment is this month, this much per month, right? I've sorted that with that client. I know my mortgage is paid. I know my electricity gets paid there. And if you work on it like that and break it down and you give yourself more of a purpose while you're doing it, and then you're suddenly sitting there and thinking, do you know what? I want a weekend away. I need a weekend away. I need a new client to pay for my weekend away. As bad as that sounds, that's what we need. We need the money and we want to
giving your money purpose. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think, just go for it. What have you got to lose? Even if you inbox somebody and they say no, that's okay. That's fine. Not everyone is going to say yes, and that's okay. But just plant that seed. I've had a couple of people that have spoke to me and I thought, oh, these are going to be great. They're going to be really interested. And then they've gone, oh, I'll think about it. And I've never heard from them again. But I'm kind of thinking, hopefully I'm in their mind somewhere, and at some point they'll be doing something and think, oh, maybe she could help me with this. And then they may get back in touch. And it's just building those connections, and, you know, or they may know somebody else that they could recommend you to. You just don't know who you're speaking to. So I think just go for it.
And I love how you said making those connections and planting the seed.
Mm-hmm.
And I always talk about this as well. So it's fine enough to plant the seed, but then you also have to, how do I go with this analogy?
Nurture the seed.
Nurture the seed. So, and what that means in kind of the marketing and the business world is kind of make sure you're following up with this person regularly, because they might forget about you, and they might forget that you exist and that you offer these amazing services. So if you can pop up by email, by DM at just the right time, they'll be like, oh my goodness, this is heaven sent. You're exactly what I need right now. So nurture those relationships. Don't just inbox them and leave, you know, keep that relationship going. And we have this in the inner circle as well. I have a Google Sheet, like a lead tracker. So every person you do DM, every person you inbox, every person you email, write them down in the sheet and just make a note of kind of when you should follow up with them again. Because I think a lot of the closes, a lot of the contracts and the clients, they happen in the follow-up. I don't know if that's been your experience, but it's definitely been mine.
And I think especially when the people that you're trying to help are normally really busy because they're trying to do everything themselves. And it's that thing, we're all like it, like, oh, I'll deal with that tomorrow, or, you know, and I had somebody that was kind of umming and ahhing about whether they were going to have me. And I realized through watching their Instagram and following them for a day or two that you could tell on their stories they were stressed out. They were just trying to get their stories out. They were like, oh my God, I've got all this order, I've got this and I've got that, you know, and you could really tell how busy they were. And it was literally like, just let me help. Just let me do a little bit. Yeah. All you need to do is get your foot in the door and do that little bit for them. And then before you know it, they'll be asking for you to do, or could you just help with this? And then it will grow from there. So I think definitely don't be disappointed if you're having somebody come in and go, oh, I just want you to do a small bit. Because you don't know where that'll lead.
How do you convince them? How do you convince them that they need you?
I think just, you know, it's selling your services. I mean, for me, as I say, my website, I made it very crisp, very modern, very easy to navigate. And the kind of people that were contacting me, you know, I had 3 people message me saying, your website is exactly what I want my website to look like, but it always looks complicated and messy. So it's back to that being your own advertisement. When you're doing your stories or anything, you need to almost not look stressed. We all get stressed. We all have crazy lifestyles and we all have stuff going on. But if you look relaxed and have time for them, and they'll just think, I want to be that relaxed myself as well. You know, we've all done it. I've gone, oh, I wish I had that person's life or something. Do you know what I mean? It's me saying, not comparing. But you do. And, you know, you just want to really keep reassuring them and almost build that friendship and trust with them, I think is the best thing to do. Or how I'm doing it, whether it's working yet, we'll see long term.
I love that. Guys, if anybody's watching and you want to ask questions, use the question button below and I will absolutely address it. I have a question around how did you decide what services that you were going to offer? So you'd already done some social media. What else do you offer?
So obviously social media, websites. I have put out that I offer podcasting services, and because I've had a podcast before, so with that I did everything from booking my guests, scripts, putting the podcast out, the promotion, the graphics that came with it. My podcast was also on YouTube, so it wasn't just putting out a podcast, it was making YouTube videos. As of yet, whether again I'm not advertising for that in the right place, nobody's come forward with that, but that's something that I'm passionate about and that I think could be a bit of a niche for me to be able to do, especially as people could go, I could send them links to my podcast and my YouTube and say, well, this is what I did for me, I could do this for you, or how would you want yours to look? So it's that. And then I've got somebody else I'm looking after, which is just, you know, basic diary management, because they just didn't have time. They're a therapist and just wanted that part away from, they never trained in learning how to make appointments and chasing people and things like that. So mine's mainly sort of around social media and a few diary management.
Okay. So it's stuff that you kind of learned yourself or you already knew how to do. You didn't kind of invest in any sort of skills courses or any technical courses.
No, I didn't, but still, it was all stuff that I had to learn when I was doing it myself. And it's going back to me thinking, right, okay, when I started doing my podcast and radio and things like that 5 years ago, what would I like to have not had to have done? What made me lose sleep and think, oh God, I've got to do this, and the mistakes that I made. So as much as it sounds easier because, oh, I've done that before, I still had to learn it all myself and didn't have a VA. And it was literally as simple as, most of the time I was going on YouTube and obviously TikTok now, learning. I would literally just Google, how do I make a podcast? How do I do this?
Totally. Yeah. That is the best way to learn. YouTube is like a gold mine for learning things. Absolutely. I kind of always say this as well. Is you can spend $1,000 on a course, or you can just Google it.
Yes.
I'm totally with you. I'm the same. Everything I offer, I learned from Google and YouTube. So
definitely,
it's amazing. So I this is what I'm kind of with new VAs. They're kind of always stuck in this stage of like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Should I apply to this job even though I don't know how to do this? I can't be a VA because there's so many things I don't know. But like you said earlier, you just kind of have to start, put yourself out there, and you'll learn as you go. That is the best way, I think.
And even with time, I think some people say, oh, I don't know if I've got time. I'm working full time. I've got a life, this, that, and the other. But I think that, if you just say, okay, I'm going to give 2 hours a week to somebody, an hour to somebody, an hour to promote myself, and let it build and see how much it could build from there. And then you'll get to a point, hopefully, like me, where I sat back and I went, hold on, if I'm doing this in my spare time, how would this look if I threw myself in full time? And, I sat down with my partner and I was like, right, okay, is this something that we can do? Do we just do this full time? And I think that at some point, it's back to what I said before, what's the worst that can happen? At the end of the day, hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, you go and get another job.
Exactly. Exactly. So what does the future hold for Harkin Virtual Assistants?
Hopefully, I want to build up my presence online. As I say, I'm really going to try and get more into TikTok and understanding how TikTok works, because I think that's an amazing business platform. And I think that if I learned more on that myself, I could then help my clients with TikTok more, because I remember when TikTok launched and I was thinking, oh, this will never take off. And then all of a sudden TikTok was everything for, during lockdown and things. And now it seems like a real business place. You go on there and there are people that are just selling, promoting, and doing an amazing job at it, and well done to them.
Yeah, that sounds, TikTok definitely took off for me in the pandemic. It's kind of like, it's what I watch more than anything else on socials, more than stories, more than reels. Everyone's on TikTok now, and it might sound intimidating for those of us who are scared of video, but this is a whole other conversation. But you can do so much stuff without having to get on video in terms of TikTok and reels. So it's worth exploring. So yes, guys, if you have any more questions for Jodie, please put them in the comments here, or I'm going to share this video on my feed. So if you're watching this later, put the questions and comments below and we'll take them to Jodie. But thank you, Jodie, for your time today. It's been really enlightening, because you are proof of somebody who just kind of went for it. You were working full time. You built your own website. You launched within so quickly. Oh, your website URL. It is. Do you want to share that?
Assistance.com. Should I type it in here? Will that work?
Yeah.
Let me try that.
I'll share it with you in the Inner Circle group as well, Amanda. And here, harkinvirtualassistants.com, I think. But yeah, what a success story. You launched on Instagram and you had so much interest just from Instagram, but you did put the effort of like getting visible on Instagram. You were attracting people to you. You got found. And yeah, now you've kind of enjoying 5 clients. You're doing this full time. I mean, that's brilliant.
I think it's just, exciting to see what the future's going to bring as well, and really put everything into it. And I think that, there are a lot of excuses not to get started. There's lots of scary things, and we all go through things in our life. For me, a big part of it was I wanted to fill my free time. I had a very bad year. I lost both my parents in the last year. I was caring for them as well. So then I ended up with all this free time. And there was a lot of it that was like, yes, I took time out that I needed to. And then it was like, right, how can I fill this time? And because I like being creative and doing things like social media, and it is that old trick that, you fake it till you make it. If you're happy online and smiley, it starts rubbing off a little bit inside. And for me, it was something to focus on to start with. And then, as I say, it's just become hopefully a business from here, and hopefully
absolutely
help other people as well, because I think that's, for me, I'm sure like yourself, which is why you do this, is it's nice to help those other people as well. So always happy to answer any questions.
Absolutely. Do you want to answer that question about baby Guinnesses?
So this is kind of one of my clients. So we have a festival in Manchester, and I think he's probably wanting, if anybody's in Manchester and likes Irish country music, we're running a festival next month called Crack by the Creek. It's on my page, so that will keep Matt happy.
I want to come. Oh, wait, we've got another question from Beatrice. When creating an email for the business, what platform do you use?
So again, I do it all through GoDaddy, which they create an Outlook email address for you. You can have up to 5, I think. At the moment, I've only used info at Harkin Virtual Assistants, because obviously you have to pay for them to host it. Because I just thought that was the most professional, something like that. But I think eventually I will have one of my own that will be sort of Jodie at. But again, if you're scared of emails or websites, somewhere like GoDaddy really is helpful, that you can just get everything you need from there, and then suddenly realize how easy it is just to make up things yourself. And if you're good at Canva, that's, even through GoDaddy or building your own website from scratch, Canva's the best thing just to throw things together for a website. Again, so many templates, and just follow what you like the look of, because you want to be passionate about it yourself. So if you like the look of something, that's going to attract the people I think you want to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any other closing words of wisdom? You've already shared so much wisdom with us. Any other wisdom nuggets for those of us who are just starting out?
I think just go for it. Just don't be scared. Be your own supporter, and don't care what other people think. You will have friends and family that will go, oh, I don't think you should be doing that. I think a lot of people as well think that it's like one of these companies, like Avon, that you buy into and you have to,
like a multi-level marketing.
That's it. Yeah. People say to me, oh, is it just a con? And I'm like, no, this is your own business. You put into it what you want. It doesn't cost you anything. All you need is social media or some way of connecting with people. So just go with it. Don't listen to people, because normally when people are negative, it's just because they haven't got the inspiration themselves. So just go for
it. Yes. I love that. Thank you so much, Jodie. Thank you, everybody who's joined us live, everybody who's watching the replay. It's been such a pleasure to chat with you and learn from you. And yeah, I will see you in the inner circle.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
No worries. Bye.